Hello, and this is Edwin Edebury, and today is Happy Monday. I want to say thank you all for joining this call today. And the reason that I do this, folks, is that Monday tends to be a very tough one for most people. And this is one way that we can do it to reduce that. All right. So today, folks, again, my name is Edwin Edebury, and I am the Chief Happiness Officer with the I Am Happy Project and also the Happy Neighborhood Project. Today, folks, we're going to be talking about multitasking and happiness. Yep, multitasking and happiness. Now, I remember back in the early 80s, doing my MBA classes, and the emphasis was how well would somebody be able to multitask. I mean, that was very big then. And all this industrial movement in terms of focusing people, and you in short, your success of getting a job was really focused on how well you can multitask. And I think over the period, that's increased to a point where now folks are realizing multitasking is not really multitasking. And multitasking actually affects your level of happiness. Now, there are different studies that have been conducted. One that I review, as I'm preparing for this call, is by Jordan Ekin and Casey Mulligan, and they actually did a write-up on the Harvard Business Review. And they find out that, if you multitask, especially for a short period of time, it actually reduces your level of happiness. And it also reduces your productivity. Now, over a long period of time, maybe you can feel you're increasing productivity because you're doing multiple things, like over a week or a month or stuff like that. But when you come to think about it, a lot of the things that we do that really count is today. Is this hour? Is this 10 minutes? And so that's why, one of my favorite sayings is that you do not allow the past or the future to rob you of your present. Your present is what counts. It's how are you affecting your level of happiness right now. Now, some of the studies they did were really very simple ones, like they bring students and have students work on multiple tasks or have them work on single tasks. And at the end, they evaluate them and they find out those who work on multiple tasks in a short period of time find out that they were less happy because they were less productive. And whereas those who work on single tasks over the same period of time were happier and were more productive. Now, as I talk to more people about this whole concept of multitasking, and especially those people who work with the brain, because that's really where all of our multitasking takes place, you start to find out that multitasking doesn't really exist. It's a fallacy. It's just one of those things that we think we are multitasking, but we are not really multitasking. Okay, because when it's all said and done, the brain is a single processor. Okay, the brain is a single processor. Yes, it can do a lot of stuff over a period of time, and it can do them very quickly. In short, it's so quick, that's where in the computer world they talk about multitasking, that a computer can execute more than one program or task simultaneously. But when you really bring it down to it, it doesn't tackle it, it doesn't execute it at the same time. In short, now there are studies that are showing that what we might think is multitasking is actually switch tasking. In other words, you switch from one task to the other, and then the quicker you do it, the more it looks like you are doing the same task at the same time. But the truth is, you are actually switching tasks. And that's where the problem usually comes. Because when you're switching tasks, even though you're switching it very, very quickly, your brain, your stimulation reduces. It's kind of like every time you switch the task, you're starting all over again on one of them. And so that's where multitasking really reduces your production. It reduces your happiness because cognitively you are not doing the task at the same time. Your memory space is not doing the task at the same time. All of the things that goes to work does not. Now, let me bring it to a little bit more practical sense. And some of you have experienced this. Either you have actually done it yourself or you have seen people who have done it. While you are driving. You see sometimes there are some people, and I'm not trying to pick out on ladies, but, I've seen ladies do this thing. They have a cup of coffee on their lap, and then they're trying to make up while they are driving. Now, talk about multitasking, okay? Now, the truth about it, there's really no multitasking there because, for one, you're not paying attention on the coffee that's on your lap. When you are putting the makeup on your eye, you are not paying attention on the road. So at some point, you are actually reducing your performance in all of those things. So just think about it for a second. When you are making up, you're not drinking coffee. When you're making up, you're not really paying attention to your driving. Or when you're driving, you're not making up. So you can see, yes, you're switching tasks, but you are not really multitasking in the real definition of multitasking. So, and then that's where we have the side effect of multitasking. Because more than one occasion, you've seen some people split the coffee on their lap and they get burnt and they get nervous, and then the makeup stuff drops from their hand in the process of that, and then they really swerve off of the road because that was not part of the plan, So that's an example. Or let's say, again, let's bring it to even playtime. And guys, you're playing with your kid, but you're trying to read newspaper at the same time, and the kid kind of veer away to something else. And all of a sudden you hear a scream, and you say, wait a second, the kid was right here just now. No, the kid has been gone because you were concentrating on reading the newspaper. Your brain goes to work on where you focus on. The moment you're not focusing on the kid and you're focusing on the newspaper, your task is now reading the newspaper, not the kid anymore. And when you're focusing on the kid, you're not reading the newspaper. You might just be moving the pages, but you will not remember a thing that you read. So why the society has made multitasking very popular and a skill that we were graded on, and the more you think you can multitask, the higher you get on the scale, we've actually used it to increase our level of unhappiness. And so a lot of the studies that I come across while I was preparing for this call clearly shows that if you deal with one task at a time, you are happier with the result of the task, and you are more productive on that task. So I want you to really, in this coming week, I want you to test yourself. At times, and this is very practical things you can use, and just I'm bringing this to your consciousness. And every time that you seem to be doing more than one task at a time, pay attention to it. At the end of it, just grade yourself on a scale of 1 to 10. How happy are you at the end of the task? You don't need any scientist or any researcher to tell you this. I want you to be the research item. Use yourself. And then the next time when you're doing one task at a time, at the end of the task, evaluate yourself on a scale of 1 to 10. How happy are you? Do that just for 1 week. And you will find out yourself that you are happier when you're doing one task at a time. Then let's talk about stress. Folks, I cannot overemphasize how much stress we put on ourselves when we tend to multitask. So you want to reduce the stress in your life? Reduce the amount of multitasking you do. There is a direct correlation. And we also already know when you have less stress, guess what? You are more happy. So if you have been asking yourself, I don't know why I'm so stressful and stuff like that, well, pay attention to how you manage your task. You've heard the phrase, where people say, oh, I'm juggling too many things. Well, stop juggling too many things. Stop juggling more than one thing at a time. Now, here is the biggest thing that I had. And people say, oh, I don't have a choice. Yes, you do have a choice. You do have a choice. Now, here is the thing. Sometimes it may be a choice between you being happy and being unhappy. It could be a choice between not being stressful and being very stressful. Having high blood pressure versus having normal blood pressure. Those could end up being the choices you have if you think you don't have a choice about multitasking in your life. Folks, again, when I come to do this topic, I do a lot of research ahead of time. So I'm not just coming here and just open my mouth and just start talking. But I also encourage you, part of this call every Monday that I do is not to be the answer to all questions, is to actually help to kick off the conversation, is to help you to get going. These days it's so easy. You can put multitasking and happiness on Google and you'll see stuff that come up. I just want to get the conversation started. And then my goal is to kind of give you one or two, maybe three takeaways. And so I encourage you, do a little bit more research on your own. Don't just take my word for it. It will be worth your time to get to know, is multitasking really work? If you are the kind of person that pride yourself on multitasking, I don't want to bust your bubble. But scientists now have shown that multitasking is a fallacy. It doesn't exist. The brain is a single processor. Yes, it might process stuff very quickly, but it still processes it one at a time. And in the process, you try to be too quick to make it process more than one, you're going to make error. And so that's the third thing that I want to leave you with, error. You want to reduce the amount of error you make over a day, over a week, reduce the amount of multitasking you do. I'll give you a very simple one. You're on a call for something very important, and your other call rings, and you put that person on hold, and you go to pick the new call. That's multitasking. Now, either you come back and you didn't know exactly where you stopped before you went back on the other phone, or the person that you put on hold is on a different frame of mind now. They're getting irritated. What was going very smoothly before is not going as smoothly it's not going as smoothly as it was anymore. And you've actually wasted their time, even though you might not mind wasting your own time, but you have wasted their time when you put them on hold. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying you can never put anybody on hold, but understand what is going on in the process. Every single time we do multitask, we reduce our productivity, we reduce our level of happiness. So, practice on yourself. Like I said, practice on yourself. This coming week, today, see how many multitasking you do, and then set a goal on reducing multitasking in your life. Going back to single task. And you will find out that you would have increased your level of happiness, and you would have reduced the amount of stress in your life, and you would have increased your productivity. So that's what we've got for today. The subject was multitasking and happiness. My name is Edwin Edebiri. I am the Chief Happiness Officer with the I Am Happy Project and Happy Neighborhood Project. Please join us. If you are not already subscribed to our YouTube channel, please do so. Just go to YouTube. On the search, type in Ask the CHO, ASK THE CHO, and then subscribe. So that way you'll get this every time. If you miss a call, you'll get a recording sent to you via YouTube, or you can go on the YouTube channel and catch up. Part of the way we end this, folks, is we wish each other a happy Monday. And so, folks, I hope you understand, whatever you focus on is going to grow. If you focus on your happiness, happiness is going to grow in your life. It's just that simple. If you cannot be too busy to find time for you to be happy, because when you are not happy, nothing else really matters. All the very wonderful things you were doing that you didn't have time to be happy, none of that matters if you really are not happy. So I'm going to count to 2, and we're going to wish each other a happy Monday. 1, 2.
Happy Monday.
Happy Monday, everyone. Happy Monday.
Happy Monday.
Happy Monday.
Happy Monday, everyone.
Stay happy. All right.